They're the largest fish in Lake Champlain, and they're in danger.
Tonight, Ike Ben David shows us what's being done to protect Lake Sturgeon in our Wildlife Watch.
The lake tank at Echo is a main attraction at the Science Museum on the waterfront, highlighted by the lake sturgeon.
The lake sturgeon, for me, is one of the things that really makes this lake special.
Lake sturgeon is a pretty prehistoric fish.
Ben Gorbach and Olivia Barafio are a part of the team taking care of the sturgeon and other animals at Echo.
They've got a tail that really resembles a shark, but they've got no teeth in their mouth, so they're not quite as scary as a shark.
The fish that can live up to 100 years were once abundant in Lake Champlain, but due to heavy commercial fishing and blocking access to spawning areas, the lake sturgeon are now classified as endangered in Vermont.
Well, a big problem with sturgeon is that it takes them so long to mature and start laying eggs of their own, and then they might not lay them every year, might be every 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years. So when it takes a long time for breeding populations to bounce back.
This time of year is really important for sturgeon because it is their spawning season, and spawning season is super important for any endangered species because that's the opportunity to increase the population. And so right now, if you live on the Winooski River or the Moyle River, you might be seeing some activity of sturgeon coming up the river to spawn from the lake. And it's really important that they have a nice clean river with a rocky bottom to spawn in.
One of the biggest protections is if you're catching fish with a hook and line, the second you know you have a sturgeon on the line, you have to cut it right away.
At Echo, I got the opportunity to get behind the scenes and feed the prehistoric fish.
Oh, we got it! All right!
In the aquarium, they feed them a fish gel, but in the wild, sturgeon eat at the bottom of the lake.
They're really gentle. They're bottom feeders, so they're not really looking for hands as meals, but they're going to use those cute little mustaches, their barbels, to help find their food.
And change is coming to Echo for the lake sturgeon.
In about 2.5 years, 3 years, we'll be standing in the water in the big new lake tank.
Director of Animal Care Facilities, Steve Smith, says the 20-year-old tank needs an upgrade.
These white spots that we see here are actually the chemicals leaching out with some of the water that's coming out through this display. So we have multiple leaks here.
The new tank will give the fish a lot more space to swim. These benches mark where the new tank will extend to.
So this aquarium is about 7,000 gallons, and we're probably looking at about 20,000 gallons when it's done. And it's going to be about 3 times the size of what it is now. Construction
is expected to start next September. Smith says there's a lot of planning before the big upgrade.
We're going to be looking for climate-controlled space somewhere where we can temporarily house these fish. Before Echo moved into this building, we actually had an 18-foot pool, like a backyard pool, in the where the sailing center used to be. And that's where we were holding fish while Echo was being built, and we'll be doing that again.
Growing more than 7 feet long, are sturgeon the answer to a Lake Champlain mystery?
Is a lake sturgeon champ?
Well, it's an excellent question, and I can't speak to maybe champ specifically, but if I'm in the water swimming around and I see a fish out there that's almost 8 feet long, that certainly feels like a lake monster to me.
You can also feed the prehistoric lake sturgeon right here at Echo, and we'll have that information on our website, WCAX.com. In Burlington, Ike Ben David, Channel 3 News.